go.
All right. Welcome to another episode of the Formula Hooligan podcast. Too late to count it down. We're already in. I'm Alex Gomes. You are.
Charlie.
And
This is number 15.
This is number 15, episode 15.
Let's go.
We are back to talk about two more F1 races once again because we've missed two F1 races
Right,
since the
4
last
of
podcast
21
episode.
or something, right?
I think it's going to be the full 23 that they've always wanted. 23
oh,
races.
yeah, so they, okay, even with the Russian Grand Prix removed?
I think the popular theory was that Turkey might replace it on the calendar,
Okay.
which is pretty sweet. I love that track.
Cool. Yeah, maybe let's just talk about the standings because I just checked today and I was pretty shocked that Mercedes is still looming in third.
In a car that doesn't deserve to be third. So it would seem.
In a car
So
that
it
doesn't
would
deserve
seem.
it and a driver that does deserve it, but it's not Lewis Hamilton. So it's
I
very
know.
weird.
It is very weird.
I didn't even check to see where Lewis is. He's got to be like, he's not even in the points. He's got to be like 12th, 13th.
No, he's in the points. He's just,
That's right. He got a podium. Remember that?
He got a podium in the first race. Yep. It was, classic Hamilton looking where he rescued what shouldn't have been a great, finish in the first place because the Mercedes has not looked good all year. I've never watched that Mercedes go down the track.
Somebody needs to fill me in, though, not to cut you off on this porpoising shit, because every 2022 car, it's just bop, 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 bop. You can see their head.
Yeah, it doesn't look
like
cozy.
down the track. No, it looks like shit.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
So what makes it worse on the Mercedes?
I don't
Do you
know. No, I mean,
No.
they don't know.
Yeah, but Reddit makes it seem like it's so apparent.
Because it is. They're the worst offenders by far.
Right, but I don't know. From my naked eye, it doesn't appear to be any different than any other team. I don't know.
Really,
it's crazy. But it seems down on power, too.
I know the Mercedes engine doesn't seem powerful for once. It's weird.
But who else is running the Mercedes power plant out there?
You have McLaren running the Mercedes power plant. Mercedes themselves.
Williams, right?
Williams.
Oh, Haas.
Nope. Haas has got the Ferrari. I think
Maybe that's it.
Oh no. Aston Martin. Aston Martin is running the Mercedes.
And they're not running too quick. But McLaren's been so-so. So what changes were made though to Ferrari to give them so much more pace this year?
I don't know.
I mean, it can't just all be the chassis and the aero change.
Well, I think that motor's pretty freaking strong too this year.
Yes,
for
it
once.
is. It is indeed. So let's talk about the Australian Grand Prix. That's their first one in 3 years, I believe.
Yeah. Well, that was the race that the
started it all.
Pandemic
Yeah.
happened, and they
They canceled it right at the last second, right?
right at the gates. They turned away thousands of people.
Unbelievable.
I mean, but what are you supposed to do? You have this new virus coming out.
Oh, yeah, liability.
Nobody knows how deadly it is.
Right. I find it ironic that they canceled the race in Australia, one of the most deadliest countries in the world, when animals are just around every corner looking to kill you, and then they canceled it because of a... Never mind. But anywho, they're back.
They are back.
I was hoping to see Daniel Ricciardo give a little bit more, get a little better result. But
I mean, it was their comeback effort. You know what I mean?
True,
McLaren
yeah.
looked like potentially the worst car of the year in the first two races.
yeah,
And then they come back and finish, what, 4th and 5th? Something
like
that?
that.
Or
Maybe
5th and
or
6th?
4th and 7th or 4th. Yeah, something like. But it was decent. Yeah.
Yep. One talking point about the Australian track is the changes to the track that were
I didn't
interesting.
notice it, to be honest with you.
Really?
'Cause I'm not. Is it all right? Is it the part of the track where who went off on the fast section there? It's like the left, right.
Carlos Sainz.
Yes. Was that the part they changed up?
No.
Or no.
No,
So
the part before that, right before that. So
Okay.
you know how it's a long, flat-out left-hander leading
Yeah.
to that chicane,
Yeah.
if you want to call it that?
Yep.
Before that, it used to be two corners. It used to be a braking zone into a right-hander and then a more gradual left-hander into that flat-out left leading to that chicane. Now, there's none of that. Now it's just a straight shot, just coming out of I think turn 6. It's turn 6 and 7, and then it's just, ying, you just go right through, like it's a straightaway now. It's no longer two corners. Personally, I thought I was going to like it, because it's like, hey, faster. Yeah, that's pretty cool, whatever. I kind of miss those corners, to be honest with you. I mean, it gives a better run-up. It gives a better opportunity to run up and try to pass somebody into that left-right chicane.
But that's such a tough place to pass, as we
Right.
saw. There's not...
Right.
not a lot of... You know what they should do since they made that... Actually, no, here's what they should have done. Kept the right-left like they had it, and then smooth out, because there's a track for it. There's a layout where they could just keep that a sweeping right-hander and not have that little chicane. You know what I mean? You can see it in the track.
You don't like the high-speed chicane?
No, because of this reason. I would have rather them keep the little left-right, or right-left, rather, before that, and then change the other faster turn. I think that would have been better.
Really?
Yeah, because it's stupid. It doesn't lead. You can't do anything with that. There's nothing.
You can't do anything with that, but I think it's one of the coolest sections in Formula One only because of how friggin' fast they go through there. Yeah. Shit like that is what gets me going about Formula One. Like the swimming pool section in Monaco, when they come through there flat out at 160 miles an hour on a road, it's so cool to watch.
Yes, you mean after down the hill, through the tunnel, down the hill, the chicane, and then by the swimming pool.
Yes,
yeah.
It goes, kind of like a medium left, but then it's a flat out left, right, and then a right around the swimming pool. You know what I mean?
Oh yes, that like section is so tight.
Left, right.
Yeah.
Oh, that stuff is where it's at for me when it comes to
like remember that famous shot? I don't remember who it was, but he like kissed the barrier with his tire, but did it just right. You know what I mean? Like literally,
it seems like every year. Perez did it last year. Yeah, in the Red Bull. Yep. But it's stuff like that I love about Formula One. And that corner in Australia, if you watch like crowd pick, videos that they take themselves when they come through, and they're just like, yay, and they just disappear quicker than you can comprehend. It's amazing. So I would not get rid of that corner.
Yeah.
At all.
Okay. Fair enough. I mean, I don't know if either of our opinions matter. The racing was a little bit blah.
Yeah, I'll admit that Australian Grand Prix.
Races.
No, so if we go through a bit of a summary of what happened, we did have Carlos Sainz going off on lap 2.
Yeah,
he goes off in that chicane, beaches it, and because of the way the rules are, you can't get restarted and you can't have assistance outside of the car to get going again. So he beached it, and his race was done, even though the car isn't damaged. And I'm sure if he got a push from a trackside vehicle, whatever, it'd be fine. But them's the rules. It's not like a NASCAR, IndyCar. IndyCar and NASCAR, they can have assistance to get going again.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Yeah, and you'll see, especially in IndyCar races, because they don't have an onboard starter, the track crews will have starters. So they'll put it in the back of the car, get them going again, and they'll be like, all right, see ya.
Really?
Yeah, but not F1. Not allowed. Yeah.
That seems weird. They don't have a starter on the IndyCar?
No.
Like inboard, you just press the button and there's no electric starter that just kicks?
Nope. It's just like some go-kart classes. They have to put a starter into it and start to get it going.
That'd be awesome if they're out there pull starting it.
No, not quite. Not quite. A lot of race cars are like that, dude. A lot of race cars don't have onboard starters.
It's a safety thing, right?
I think it's a weight thing.
Weight?
If I were to guess. Yeah, it's one less thing to have in the car.
You're right. Yeah, maybe.
It's not even just weight. It's probably just space of stuff that you want to put in the car. It's one less thing that has to be on the car.
Starting a car you would think would be pretty important. But I guess
but you don't plan on crashing it. You don't plan on stalling it.
Remove reverse gear. I don't know. I don't know.
F1's different with the hybrid stuff now because they can basically run on electric power for a very short time to start it on gas power. That's what happened to Perez last year for the opening race in Bahrain. He stalled on the formation lap. And he's like, what's going on? And then he started it back up and got back to his position. It made it for that was a great race. But that was last year. This year, like I said, we had Sainz going off in the gravel. He's done. It's all set. Then, to be honest with you, I'm kind of having a hard time remembering what else even happened in the race. The other notable thing that happened pretty early on was that Max Verstappen broke down and brought out a safety car.
I don't even remember that.
No?
Nope.
He was going into turn 1. Excuse me. Going into turn 1. He's going into turn 1. And the car basically was just like, yeah, I'm all set.
Turned off again.
It turned off on him. And he pulls off on the outside of turn 2. And he gets out. And the car, I think it was a hydraulic leak. So it started a little small fire. And he's showing the marshals like, hey, extinguisher
yes.
up in there, please.
Yep. I do remember that.
Yep.
But did Perez suffer the same fate later?
No. No, it wasn't like Bahrain where they both blew up. No. But what it allowed was to kind of make the race interesting for the second, third, and fourth places because it was Perez in second, and now Russell. No, was it Russell in third or Hamilton? Russell was in third because I remember him getting the podium at the end, and I remember Hamilton. It's so funny because Hamilton was struggling. I mean, fourth place, but that's kind of struggling as far as Hamilton's standards go. And I remember late in the race, he said something really odd, like he told his team like, "You guys have put me in a tough position." And it's like, dude, you're in fourth place because the safety car came out. You're not in fourth place because of anything the team did. I have no idea what you're talking about.
He's just disappointed he's underperforming.
Yeah, but to put the blame on his team all of a sudden, I know a lot of people love to say that he's the biggest crybaby in Formula One. And to some degree, yeah, I know. He can come over the radio and just be like, everything sucks, and kind of sound like that. But he rarely ever, like...
Throws his team under the bus.
Right. Throws the team under the bus blatantly. Usually what I see out of Hamilton is that he will sound kind of whiny over the radio, but then once the checkered flag comes out, he'd be like, all right, thank you guys, good job, blah, blah, blah. He's usually pretty good about that. But this time, yeah, not so appreciative. And that definitely continued into Imola.
Yeah, well, in Imola, he was lapped by his buddy, his arch nemesis.
Oh, I don't know about buddies.
His creepy dad was loving it. That's Max's dad, by the way. But
yes.
Yeah, so Charles Leclerc picked up some more points.
Yes, Charles Leclerc. He won the race. I think he got the Grand Slam where it was pole for qualifying, won the race, fastest lap, and led every lap. That's a Grand Slam at Formula One. So
which Lewis has a million
points.
of those, but
I think he's got a few. Yeah.
Irony is Max did that in Imola.
Right. Right.
Literally back and forth.
Yep. And I actually read that I guess it's the first time that two different drivers have had a Grand Slam in a season since like the 70s or something crazy.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't realize that.
There were none like that last year?
Well, if anybody did it, it was only one person.
Huh.
You know what I mean?
I
would assume it was either Max or Lewis.
Yeah, interesting.
You know?
Well,
but yeah,
Imola was fun because of the rain at first and a little bit of
I mean,
intermediate.
Did anything else happen in Australia that's worth talking? I mean, Sebastian Vettel crashed a whole bunch, which was unfortunate.
He's just what is going on with him anyway? He's got the rocker hair. It's like down over his eyes. I don't think he can see while he's driving. That's the problem.
I don't know about that. I mean, it was his first race back since having COVID. He missed two of them, right? So he's had some time out of the car.
Wait, was that where we saw Magnussen come? Has Magnussen been back every single?
Yeah, because what's his nuts got fired. The Russian kid.
The Russian dude. Yeah, so that's...
I don't even remember his name. He was so forgettable. Mazepin.
Mazepin.
I'm sorry, Mazepin. Yes, he got fired. And
we could do a whole podcast on just him.
Oh, God. I
have paid no attention to him. He's done some interviews, and I just don't care.
I don't care.
I don't feel bad for him. Your dad's a billionaire. You drive a Formula One car.
Yeah.
Cry me a river. Your country's blowing up people.
Your dad has, like, private dinners with the dude who's currently bombing another country. Like,
and we're supposed to feel bad for you?
No.
You weren't that good anyway.
But yes, Magnussen has been in every race because of that. Kind of kicking Mick's ass, which is kind of showing like...
Yeah.
Maybe that Mick Schumacher kid ain't so great. I think we talked about this in the last podcast, to be honest with you, but it's continuing. Like in races 3 and 4, yeah, I don't think Haas had the best Australia, but they had a pretty decent Imola.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think wasn't...
I thought he finished like 4th, didn't he?
No, that was...
Imola went Max... Perez. No. It went Max. Yeah.
Yeah, Red Bull won 2.
And then Leclerc was 3?
No, Lando.
Oh, that's right. Leclerc spun.
Right.
Oh, he hit the chicane a little too hard.
Yeah, he ate it up really, really hard. Yeah.
He recovered pretty good, though.
Not really.
He ended up fighting back a few positions, though, which is pretty impressive. It's tough to pass.
Yes. Let's go back towards the beginning of the race. So it did start in the wet, like you said. And it was funny because as I was watching it, it started to dry out. We started getting the dry line. And,
leaves Daniel Ricciardo
worth noting,
the first one out there.
Daniel Ricciardo in turn 2 or 3 gets into Sainz, and Sainz beaches it again.
Well, that was all Daniel's fault. You saw the replay. Turn 1, he goes scooting right over the curb, right in him. He apologized, too. So
he did, yeah. He owned up to it, that's pretty cool. That's kind of rare these days with F1. It always seems like they put the blame on the other guy.
True, but I think when you hit the curb, what are you going to say? But then again, Monza, remember when Max hit the curb and drove over Lewis's helmet? He didn't apologize, did he?
No, of course not. I mean, they're both fighting for P1 in the championship.
Yeah, but anyway,
very tight P1, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it sucks for Sainz. He beaches it 2 weeks in a row.
No, it kills his points for right now and Ferrari's hopes, but they'll be fine. They'll be fine.
Yeah, I feel bad for the kid. You know, he just got a contract extension for Ferrari, so he's in the team for another few years, and as soon as he gets that extension, it's like doesn't really show that. It's not his fault, like you said, but it's just kind of a downer that it has to go like that.
Wasn't there some stupid rumors about a Ferrari trade, or with somebody? I'm trying to think who would it be? There was talks of
like a driver swap.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it was on Reddit. It's complete bullshit.
Oh yeah, if it's on
But
Reddit,
I'm just
then it
trying to
must be
think of
true.
who it was because it was kind of funny, and I'm struggling to think of who it would be.
Antonio Giovinazzi is the reserve driver.
Yeah,
You see him on the wall every once in a while. They'll put him on TV and he's on the pit wall watching the race.
he's just so strange. He looks like somebody that would have like cigarettes like wound up underneath his sleeve or something. I don't know. He does look like a Ferrari driver.
The Italian Jesus.
Yeah, he is exactly. He's like Scott Stapp out there, like racing. But yeah, I thought Imola was a good race. I know it's a tight track, but I love that track.
Oh, I love
It's
it
just a
too. I think it's better than Monza. I know Monza
I
gets
hate
all its
Monza.
credit because it's super fast.
It
It's like
sucks.
it's flat.
Boring. It's like straightaway, chicane, straightaway, chicane, then straightaway again, and then chicane. It's just back. It's just like a slot car track. You know?
Yeah, almost. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
stupid. It's
Exactly.
stupid. It's my least favorite.
Yeah.
But,
So if we go on with the race, Science is out. Sucks. Brings out the safety car. They have to rescue his car. All that good stuff. And like I was saying, it started to dry out, but they always kept talking like
It was going to rain again.
right.
Don't you think that's just drama? Adding
No.
drama? You
I don't
think so.
I don't think they're going to be lying over the radio about rain. I mean, maybe they would. They'd freak out some of the other teams. But I remember, I think it was Ricardo might have been the first one that tried to go for slicks
Yeah,
because
because he was
already
sucking. He was in last place.
right because he had damage
Yeah.
from the first crash. So he was.
Oh, that's
just,
right. Yeah, he did.
It was
yeah.
just like let's gamble and try shit. We'll see what happens. Shortly thereafter, like a lap or two later, all of a sudden it's like another 3 cars come in, another 8 cars come in, another the rest of the field, and they all started doing it.
Yeah, and they were immediately seconds faster, like 1 to 2 seconds faster, almost immediately. It's the right call.
Yeah, yep. It was the right call, and they kept getting faster and faster as the race went on. The race for second was very intense for a little while because I remember I think it was Perez was the first one to come in to go to the slicks as opposed to Leclerc. Remember?
Right. So it was Leclerc and Perez that were fighting the whole time. He was chasing him down, and then he ended up beaching it.
Right. But if you remember initially, when they were doing the pit stops to get back onto slicks, Perez takes his slicks first.
Yep.
Then Leclerc comes in, takes his slicks. Leclerc comes out ahead of Perez. And then they go into the first series of corners. But now that Leclerc is on super cold tires as opposed to Perez who did a whole lap and now he has warm tires, he passes him going into that what is it, turn 3, like turns 5 and 6 I think it is.
Yep.
Like passes him in there, which like I never see passes there.
No, that's tough.
That's actually a lot of what really made this race entertaining for me was that there was a lot of passing or a lot of attempts for passing.
You're right.
Not just in turn 1.
Exactly. So there was
phenomenal.
Yeah, there was even people suggesting we don't need DRS anymore, because of that. It's like, okay, I don't know about that. There's still plenty of tracks where I think it's built into the track. You almost have to have it.
Yeah.
Because there's too long of straightaways.
It's still the design of the cars, and I think they're better at following this year. It's still not like guaranteed. I still think the width of the cars and
they're too big.
Yeah, that definitely is a factor as well.
Oh, no doubt about it. They just showed like the size comparison, between like a 90s Formula 1 and the new one. It literally looks like a Miata next to a Mustang.
It's ridiculous, yeah. It really is. I understand the bigger the car, it's all probably mostly safety and stuff like that.
Well, definitely is faster, bigger traction tire patch. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, I mean the tires can be the same size, but the car can be skinnier.
True, but the wheelbase is what I'm getting at. It's gonna be longer.
Right. Longer wheelbase, more steady. Yeah,
wider
straight lines
track.
anyway.
Yeah, but no. So Imola didn't disappoint, and Max.
Well,
no one
all
could
right.
stop him.
Here's a funny thing. It didn't disappoint for me. I actually quite loved it. It seems like most of the Formula One community and you guys in like our text group thought it was boring. And I was like, did you guys watch the same race that I watched? Because I was on the edge of my seat. I was like, this is I know the race for first was gone. It was just Max. He was gone.
Yeah.
But like I remember, I think it was Bottas tried to make a
great race.
Yeah.
Wasn't it him and
Russell.
Yeah.
Yeah, Russell running in 5th.
Didn't you feel bad? I wanted to see Bottas pass a Mercedes.
Me too.
But he couldn't do it.
I wanted to see it
Couldn't
happen.
do it.
I wanted to see it happen. Oh,
And that was a fight for 10th, I think, wasn't it?
No. It was a fight for 5th. 5th place.
Wait, but Bottas ended, though.
In 6th.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought he ended like 11th.
No.
So he did. Okay, he's up in the points.
Yeah. Well up in the points with an Alfa Romeo, dude. When's the last time an Alfa finished in 6th?
Oh, I hope people realize he was fast. Some people
finished,
thought he was terrible.
They finished in 6th in Bahrain this year, but it's like this year's form for that Alfa Romeo has been something else. Really something else.
The Ferrari engine.
Yeah, I think that's a big contributing factor, and I think that's a big contributing factor to the success that Haas is having as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, they've been doing great.
They've been doing fantastic. Really, really good. You know? But yeah, I don't know why everybody thought it was a boring race. Like I said, I understand.
Well, the first couple of races were so outstanding. I think.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah, they were.
Tough to follow up.
This year is looking like it's going to be a thriller. You got Mercedes nowhere near the front of the pack, really. You know what I mean? So you're not going to see the usual guys winning all the time.
We'll see, though. I mean, I would argue last year, because of the closeness of the final race and what it meant, that was the best season in,
Oh, definitely.
Who knows how many years?
Definitely.
Certainly since I've been watching. So this year, even if every race is close, if it's a runaway, say Leclerc's way out ahead, I don't know, do people care about a chase for third, come race 20?
Yeah, I understand. But
sure,
I mean,
they care.
we've
Sponsors
had
care, but do we? I don't know.
No.
Not really. No.
We already had one great race for the lead at Saudi Arabia towards the end of the race, where it was Leclerc and Max trading spots for a little bit before.
Makes great highlights. You ever notice that? Like every time they are showing a commercial for Formula One, they just keep showing that sequence. It was like back and forth, sparks. Whoa.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's I don't know. To me, it's shaping up to be a pretty cool season.
Yeah, and I think Lando still has some potential. I think he's in it to fight for third.
I made the bold prediction this year that Lando was going to win a race. Well, see if that actually comes to fruition.
Last year he didn't, did he? It was Ricciardo.
No, it was Ricciardo. Ricciardo won the race. Yeah. Yep.
Ironically enough.
Yeah, probably maybe the less deserving McLaren driver of the two to get that win last year.
And that was at Monza.
It was at Monza. I mean, it was a 1-2 for them, so it's still pretty cool.
Yeah, but overall, I think there's something not fully right about that car.
It's so weird to see because the first two races were absolutely abysmal for them. And then all of a sudden in races 3 and 4, you have like a 5th, 6th place finish or whatever they managed, and then a podium in race 4. How do you go from that's like if in Miami all of a sudden Williams is racing for the podium. You know what I mean? That's pretty crazy that they were able to turn it around like that so quick.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
I'm curious to see how drivers adapt how quickly to a new track. Because up until now, all they've had to do is a simulator, right?
Well, yeah. What was Saudi Arabia was the new track last year.
Right.
And they all...
It is pretty amazing how quickly they kind of...
Yeah, I think the sim racing probably does help because their simulators...
Lando and Max, yeah.
Their simulators are kick-ass. The McLaren simulator, the Red Bull simulator.
I'm sure it's about $1 million easily.
Who knows?
We'll never know.
No, I'll never be in one. And if I do, they'll just let me sit in it. They won't let me drive it.
No shit. I know, right?
Or maybe I'll just get to look at it. Like, wow, that's the McLaren simulator. Got to be like Jimmy
Broadband to get in there.
Yep. Didn't he? I think one of the YouTube kids there did an F1 simulator, didn't they? Like a legit one.
Broadband's done it, I think, and somebody else has done it. To me, they still look. I don't see what really makes them worth. I've never been in one, but at the end of the day.
You got the movement and all that kind of stuff, and you're sitting in an actual chassis,
right?
Which is pretty cool. You're probably strapped in like you would be strapped in.
Same exact, yeah.
But I think the big thing about it is that you have guys
field of view too, right? Because the way that
field of view. But I think the biggest thing about it is that their simulators are their simulators.
That's true.
So they're
everything
constantly
is exactly all the data is right.
All the data, but they're constantly changing the simulation as well. Like I know a lot of like the test drivers that will be on the simulator all week work a lot to make sure that the simulator matches reality. You know what I mean? And because it's their simulator and
they work just as hard as a regular team.
Right, but because it's their simulator, they have guys who are video game programmers or whatever that constantly change it to make it like reality. You know what I mean? Just to try to make it so that both reality and simulator are the same, so that you can use it to get the real data that you need when You can't go to the track as much as they used to be able to.
What a good job that would be.
I don't know, dude. I think maybe for you, but I think if I had to be stuck in a simulator 8 hours a day, I'd probably get sick of it eventually.
Well, you would just be, you'd feel like George Russell last year. You want to move up.
Yeah.
You can only do virtual for so long, It's like being stuck with Pornhub for the rest of your life.
Yeah, it's not quite the real thing. They let me go on it all the time.
Yeah.
I want the real thing.
Yeah, they keep asking me how close to reality it is. It's getting there, coach.
It's getting there. We're working on it.
Oh, God.
Jesus Christ, Charlie boy.
Yeah, so they're Miami Grand Prix is happening.
Miami Grand Prix is coming up.
That's happening. I've seen all the trailers, the videos, the Red Bull videos, which I think everything about this race looks corny and stupid and just horrible. And I don't mean to say that because I'm not going. I did want to originally go, but now that I've seen everything, heard everything, I just think it's going to be an utter failure. It's like, first of all, it's like in Fort Lauderdale. It's like a half hour north of Miami. It's not on the water. It's underneath a bunch of overpasses. I mean, it's the Dolphin Stadium, I've been there.
I don't think it's going to be a failure, dude.
I don't want it to be. But
I think it's going to be wicked success. I think it's going to be amazing
say the track's
success.
Great.
I don't think it's necessary. It seems like the type of race that isn't really built for the common man.
What the hell does that mean?
Like the ticket prices, the fake marina.
It's meant for the right.
It's
fake
meant
titties and nose job people.
Exactly. It's made for people who have.
Yeah. Did you see the ticket prices?
I heard.
So now it's up to $900 for just Sunday general admission.
Oh my! You see what I mean?
No one even knows what that means, general admission, because it's never happened.
Usually
before.
you don't get a seat.
Well, I know that's what it means, but I mean some tracks are better than others where you can have a viewing angle. This one might have none. You might pay $900 just to say you were there.
You know how when we go to Montreal,
right?
You've sat in the hairpin with us before, so remember where we used to enter onto the track for the hairpin, right? Mm-hmm. We would enter on the left side of the hairpin, walk backwards down the track, go over a bridge to get to our seats. When we first walked in on the left side of the hairpin, you know how there were a bunch of people against the fence there?
Yeah.
That's general admission for Montreal.
It looks cool for 2 seconds.
I'm sure it's pretty cool, but those people, I mean, I guess when you're right there at the hairpin, you have the TV, you might hear the announcements still, so you might still know what's going on. But I bet you a lot of general admission on other tracks, you probably have no idea what's going on. You know what I mean? You probably sit at a straightaway and you just see yang, and then
Formula One tracks.
Right.
Because I'll tell you what, I went to Long Beach a couple weeks ago.
Yes, let's get into that. So Charlie boy here.
I finally went to an Indycar race. Yes. I had no idea what's going on. Everyone's asking me. So first of all, it's LA, right? Long Beach. Mm-hmm. No one there is a race fan, really. So I just shout out a few things, that make it sound like I know what I'm talking about. So people start thinking I'm like the designated guy to ask questions.
You're the expert.
And I don't want to let people down, so I just start making up stuff like Tom Brady made that pass. And they're like, oh, okay. Just believe me. They don't know. I mean, I just can't tell. I don't know the numbers. I freaking had the app open, and I'm just like, 24, 20. This. It looked like I was at a casino, voting or
well, all right, so
throwing money on a horse.
So where you were sitting at turn 1, correct?
Yes. So I was at turn 1, right before that left-hander. But the reason I picked that side was because you can see him braking. So I was right at the 300 mark, which is where they brake. Which, by the way, the second I got home, I had to get into iRacing and try it out. Dude, the cool thing is literally right at 300 is right on the money where you brake.
Nice.
It's cool, yeah. Okay. So you picked that spot because I did what you said. I went on YouTube, clicked different seats. You could get a vantage point. But the cool thing is you could see him exiting or taking that left-hander on the other side of the track. That would be I don't know what turn that is, but it's when they come all the way back around. So for the price of one ticket, you get 2 turns.
Kind of like 2 corners to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, what they go for is looking down towards the left-hander of turn 1.
Yep.
Which, if I was to do it again, I think I'd rather be there just to have more of a viewing angle to see, like, because where I was at 300, they're coming up 200 miles an hour and then brake, and then like you would see a pass or a failed pass, which is cool, but you didn't get to see any of what happened right after. Where if you were looking down that turn, you get to see him braking and passing and then finishing it off, and you get to see a little more. But the point of why I bring this up too is phenomenal track. Highly recommend it. It's cheap as it was like $100 a ticket, and that was not general admission. That was for a good seat.
Yeah, it's in this day and age.
General admission, it would have been, I don't even know how cheap, maybe $40, $45.
Yep. But what I want to ask you is that when you're sitting there in turn 1, do you have a TV? Do you have commentators?
No. So that's the thing about the difference between Formula 1 and IndyCar. It is like it's poor man's Formula 1. Sorry, that's what IndyCar is.
Oh, boy. Rick Brown just like shit a brick.
It's literally poor man's Formula 1.
Oh, no.
So I amped this up. I brought my girlfriend, and I was like, I wanted her to go, right? So I kind of told her, I described Montreal's Formula 1.
Yep.
The venue, the music, and just the sex appeal of Formula 1.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we get in there, and it's a bunch of fat guys with their bellies. It looked like a NASCAR event.
No way.
Not what I expected. There was the glitz and glamour of the nice cars. Like they had like a pseudo car show in one of the right near the hairpin, that turn. There's a little area back there. Because they did parade laps before the race.
Yep.
So anyway, I amped her up. We get in there, and it's like they were selling like the food vendors were all terrible. I told you the merch they were selling was terrible. It was just second rate. It's, you know what I mean? It's cheap shit. It's just poor man shit. So I was like, oh, But turns out, though, the cool thing about it was, well, for her anyway, is that, dude, all those restaurants like, Hooters, P.F. Chang's, Yard House, you name it, all that shit's open. And it's like so cool because we were literally, if you don't want to buy the shitty food, which it was shitty, you could literally walk up to a restaurant. They just give you food and you take it with you or do whatever you want. Drinks.
That's pretty cool.
It was pretty cool. It was like a block party.
Yep.
And the prices were surprisingly pretty decent all around. Like I expected everything in LA to be super expensive. Now the gas was, but this event was, dude, I spent like $200 the whole day. You know what I mean? It was
not bad.
Cheap. Yeah.
Not bad at all.
Not including tickets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of booze and some food and some $20 posters.
Yep.
That's all they had. But the point, though, we were saying is general admission, sick. If I was to do it again, especially like with you or something like that, general admission. You can go anywhere. You could hang out. There's no paper like covering viewing points. You can go hang out pretty much anywhere, minus over what do you call them? Bridges, obviously.
Sure.
Can't do that. But anything other than that, you can view wherever you want.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, go down to the fountain turn. Bubblegum Shrimp Company, whatever.
Yeah, you were sending me videos, or I think you're sending all of us videos.
Yeah, you can hang out anywhere. It's cool, and it's like almost free. I did do the general admission for the other races, so I watched the Porsche Cup.
Wait! Your IndyCar ticket wasn't good for the other.
No, it is, but I figured I already saw this vantage point. I want to go
so
and
you
walk
just
around.
Explored already,
and I did like a few different vantage points. So like for the truck, so first of all, the Sunday ticket you get Carrera Cup, you get the trophy trucks.
Yep.
You get IndyCar, and that's it, I believe.
Yep.
So it's still pretty sick. 3 different races.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So the biggest thing is, and I don't know the section of the track. It's not the straightaway where the start finish is, but it's the other kind of straight where, what turn would that be? Well, anyway, that's where they set up the jumps for the trophy trucks. So everyone's running over that way, and I'm like, what's going on? So I ran as fast as I could get over there, and I was literally up against the cage, and these things are flying like from me to where that closet is, where the cage is. So they're on the other side of that thing. It's like, holy these things are going 110, I imagine, or so. And they're going over these jumps, and like it's insane. It's wild.
Dude,
that was so cool.
Excuse me. When IndyCar was going to come to Boston, they were going to have the trucks. I was almost looking forward to the trucks more than the IndyCar, so I'm super jealous.
It's a race, too. So that's the thing.
Right,
I thought it was going to be just bunch of hacks out there like jumping for fun.
No.
Dude, these guys were racing.
Yep.
And then the cool part is where I saw from just this general admission little areas where the little kind of like a stairwell, so you can kind of get an elevated view. They're up on 2 wheels going around the corner, getting onto that straight. They're up on 2 wheels, just manhandling the thing. It's wild. Then to finish the race off, now I got to admit, I have no idea who was out there. I knew Always Evolving had a truck. I'm a big fan of them.
Yep.
Roger Rodas, Paul Walker. I got the sticker. But anyway, So they were out there and a few other. I mean, there was probably, I'd say 10 entries maybe, something like that.
That's about
maybe.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have full grid, but yeah, they're racing, and then after the race, the guy that won to show off on like the cool down lap. I don't know how long he did it for, but it was as long as I could follow him. He was on 2 tires, just driving around the track on 2 tires, like you see them doing like Baghdad, and those crazy people get up on their minivans
yes.
with 2 wheels.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, yep. What the hell? How do you do that? I don't know. So that was sick. The Carrera Cup was actually really cool, but those guys suck at driving, dude.
What, really?
Oh, my God. It's hilariously bad.
Why?
Like, I don't want to keep comparing it to iRacing, but it's the same thing. It's like a wreck fest, dude. Like, going into the hairpin, you get one guy that, like, they just make these dive bombs that make no sense. There's no way it's going to work. Not on that turn. First of all, the steering lock, it's not going to be enough. You cannot take an inside line to pass someone when, so this is the tire here, to do your hairpin. And you try to pass some guy on the inside, and you think, okay, now what am I going to do? Like, pull an e-brake and do one of those? So they literally end up just plowing into a guy. He's now stuffed in the wall. People don't know. There's no yellow, no nothing, because they probably can't pay to get flaggers. So they just start piling into each other in the hair. It's just crazy. The whole race was under yellow.
Really?
Yes, but I still loved it because the sound. They sound like race cars.
The Porsches do sound pretty awesome.
Oh, dude. They are incredible. They're fast. I mean, GT3 fast. They are just stupid fast now. And yeah, it was exciting as hell. So I would recommend it. IndyCar, by the way, we didn't really talk much about it, but I wanted Newgarden to win, and he did.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yep.
And our boy Grosjean was right behind him.
Yeah, chasing him down.
I kind of wanted Roman to win just for the Formula One aspect, and I like him. I think he survived death. Why not win a IndyCar
It's
race?
probably the only professional driver that you watched that day that you had seen previously live.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Because you've seen Roman in F1 in Montreal.
I'm trying to think, though, NASCAR. I think I've seen
Jimmy Johnson?
Yes, I've seen him, I believe. Because he was in NASCAR. Would he have been in NASCAR?
He was in NASCAR for the last 20 years.
No, but when did he make the switch? When did he jump out of NASCAR? He was in it 4 years ago, right?
He retired from NASCAR 2020 or 2019, something like that.
I definitely saw him. I saw him at the Federated 400, Jimmy Johnson.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, it was awesome racing. I mean,
we might have lost the camera here.
Did we? Well, at least we got audio, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the important part about a podcast.
Yeah, we still got audio. Yeah. Cool.
You guys don't want to see our ugly faces anyway. Who cares?
No, I've got sweat coming out of places I didn't even know I could.
I haven't shaved. Oh, no, it's red still.
Oh, we're back. We're live.
So maybe it's still going.
It's dying.
Nah, whatever.
It's like that. Never mind. But IndyCar sound fucking awesome.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They sound way better than Formula One.
What?
Yes.
What?
100%.
Really?
I thought so. Yeah, I mean, live. That's just my honest opinion.
Huh.
They look better in person. I'm always shitting on the way they look. They look better in person. There is that. So I've been shitting on it for being like poor man, redneck. There's a grassrootsness to it, though. That's awesome. So, like, after the race, dude, I was walking around, and the pit crew and engineers and stuff are just walking around where all the regular people are. It's not like Formula One where they go off in their limos and their helicopters.
Yep.
No, these guys pack up. Like, I remember walking down, like, the near the pit entrance and stuff. They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They got all their shit out. Like, in Formula One, they zipper it up in a bag like somebody died. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool, just as a race fan to see that stuff.
Yep.
So yeah, it's like, I mean, that's what I don't know if it was Newgarden who said that, but it's more like a karting community,
It really is. I mean,
they're just way more down to earth.
If you ever go to a sports car race, it's even more like that, dude. I remember I went to Lime Rock in 2012 to the Grand Am, as they call it, before they called it IMSA, and like you can just watch them working on a prototype.
Yeah,
like right behind they just put up these stanchions with the rope, and you can just stand behind the rope and watch them just wrench on whatever they're doing. And like I remember walking through the paddock in Lime Rock, and like the Speed TV, because remember Speed, the Speed TV, Speed TV crew just like ran by me, like whoever the anchor was, if you want to call him anchor, who the trackside analysis guy was, and the camera guy just like running right by me. It's so friggin' cool. It's wicked friggin' cool.
Well, and by the way, that's the thing. I did not go because I think that would have been asking too much of the lady to take her Saturday as well, but I missed IMSA. So they were there.
Oh, that's right.
LMPs were running, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Oh, I would have loved to have seen that.
Those Cadillac LMPs probably would have been awesome.
Oh, dude, yes. Oh, well. I got to see a few of them up close, though, which was cool. They had a bunch.
Like on display?
Yeah, indoors. They had a convention center. I mean, that was the other thing that's cool. In the convention center, they had those. They had an Indycar. You could not get in them, but you could touch them, like the steering wheel and shit. Like it
Oh, no
is,
way.
dude. It's so small. I could not believe how tight it was. Just standing right next to the Delara or whatever it is, the LMP.
Yep.
Unbelievable. Like, I mean, the wheels like this. Everything it's pretty. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Even the GT3s were a little more crammed than I thought.
Really?
Yeah, they had the Acura.
The NSX?
GT3, yep.
Oh, okay.
Really cool looking, yeah. But it's like a lot of blind spots. I'm like, no wonder these guys wreck. Can't see anything.
Yeah.
But they got the cameras now, so.
Yeah, I mean the street cars a lot of these street cars, like sports cars, they're getting a little, especially like trying to see behind you and stuff like that. Like that rear window is starting to get smaller and smaller. The C8 Corvette doesn't even. It has a regular rear rear mirror, I should say, rear view mirror, but you can just press a button and it turns into a screen. There's a camera that faces out back.
Wait, are you talking about the street car? Or are you talking
The
about
street car?
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
cool technology.
Because now that they have the motor back there, the firewall behind you is kind of high and it kind of makes a small window. So they just like, well, we just put a camera on the roof facing backwards.
Yeah.
It's probably better.
Yeah, a lot of those exotic cars, they do that with the side mirrors too.
I know. Yeah.
Screens
That's
inside.
crazy to me.
I just like to turn my head, but in a race car, that's one thing. Those cars I noticed they have those pads, kind of like NASCAR, and they extend out to about at least here. So literally, you can't see. You have this much peripheral vision. I mean, you can still see if they're right next to you, but you don't get that because a lot of people don't realize your peripheral vision is more than 180 degrees, looking straight ahead. You can actually see. I don't want to say because I don't. It's definitely true.
Probably.
Yeah, you've never had someone come up. So like I could come up behind you, and I could be well behind you, and I can be in your peripheral vision.
Sure, but in a helmet, you might be a little bit more compromised.
True.
You know what I mean?
It's possible, yeah.
You also, in cars, you also have to remember you're wearing the Hans device, so you cannot really rotate your head much at all. You ever worn a Hans?
It's a good question. Once, maybe. I guess when I was in that Spec Miata, I think I threw one on.
Okay. They probably made you.
Yeah, but it was, dude, it was more just a tether. I think you know what that was there for? So if I got in a wreck, they'd still be able to find my head as it bounces down the track. I don't really think it was a safety item,
This episode of the Formula Hooligan podcast is brought to you by Newport Propane.
Wait. Now, Alex, does anyone even use propane anymore?
Do you live under a rock, Charles?
Well, I know you can grill with it.
Uh-huh.
But can you cook on the stove with it?
Yes.
Heat the house with it?
Of course.
Warm up the pool?
Mm-hmm.
Fuel my flamethrower so I can melt snow with it?
All right, slow down, Charles.
Well, what about when the lights go
A
out?
propane generator will do you right.
Okay. So who would I talk to if I want propane in my house?
Newport Propane, of course. They've been family owned and operated for over 60 years now, so I'd say they know a thing or two about propane installation and delivery. Not to mention, they'll come out and give you a free estimate on any propane systems you're thinking about adding to your home.
Sounds good to me. How do I get in touch with them?
You can call them at 401-847-6878 or visit them online at newportpropane.com. That's 401-847-6878 or newportpropane.com. Newport Propane, proudly serving the Rhode Island area for over 60 years. I gotcha.
Speaking of that, your head was almost bopping down the track. How fast did you go?
Oh, so yes. So this weekend we had a test and tune day at Club Motorsport as a way
Tamworth?
Tamworth, yep.
Yes.
Which is it was something put together by Jim Paulette. Thank you very much, Jim Paulette. Day rocked. He put it together as a way for guys to just come and test and tune and just dial in your karts and whatever. Because Club Motorsport has the little bitty go-kart track right next to its usual car track, right? And so it was fun. It's probably the most fun I've had at Club Motorsport. Quick question.
Are they connected?
No.
Oh, okay. So there's no way that you could somehow splice them together and make a sick...
No. No. You wouldn't even want that. The car track is so wide as compared to the go-kart track.
So it's not like Canaan car track?
No.
Okay.
No. Imagine the Canaan kart track bits, like the infield bits.
Everywhere.
Nah, Club Motorsport's still wider than that. And with appropriate curbing. That's the one thing that drives me crazy about Canaan is the curbing, even in the go-kart bits.
Yeah.
It's too high. It's not made for go-karts. I don't know why they threw it in there.
No,
like
they're
that.
high even for a car. Shit.
You know what? I'll get back
All
to
right,
that.
yeah,
thought.
let's hear it.
So we were having a lot of fun just running on the kart track, and I've been doing a lot of upper body workouts this year, trying to get ready for racing this year. Because my usual complaint every year, especially racing these two strokes, is that like I get tired. My upper body just starts to kill, and I like
Right.
usually towards the end of the race, I want the race to end because I'm tired. I cannot hold on for much longer. So I've been doing a lot of upper body workouts this year, and I think it's helping. Like I noticed it in the 24. I was really not hurting the next day after the 24, which was really cool because some of my teammates were like, "Oh, I'm dead," and I'm like, "I'm not so bad."
Nice.
But now we went to Club Motorsport, and the Club kart track, it's tiny, but it's quite a workout. You don't have any time to relax. There's a straightaway that's not really even a straightaway. It's actually a gradual full speed left-hander. So you're almost constantly under G-forces.
So wait, now you're saying even in a 206 it would not bode for good racing?
Maybe 206. Maybe the 4 strokes. It's difficult to find the opportunity.
Is it like a X1 indoor track, like that size?
It is 0.4 of a mile.
Probably about the same then, maybe.
No, I think. Excuse me.
I don't remember.
I think F1 Boston was a quarter mile, which would be 0.25 as opposed to 0.4.
Yeah, it's quite
still small. 0.4 is not big. So yeah, you can't. There's not a lot of time to rest. You're always under G, so it seems. And the first run was hard. Like the first run, I was like, Jesus Christ, I need to work on my cardio or something. But then as the day kept going, like I was able to do, like we were splitting it up into 12-minute sessions. I was able to do the full 12 minutes and be pretty fine. And I was like, this is cool. I'm having a great time. I'm trying out some different parts to try out on the kart, and it seems to be kind of solving some handling problems. And I'm like, this is awesome. Big thanks to the Juba family, Tom Juba in particular, who suggested me using some different rear hubs on the axle to stop, because my car oversteers all the time, right? And I like oversteer, but it's to an annoying degree. Like even under braking, the thing is just like it like just wants to come away from me. So we put some longer rear hubs on the back of the axle, on the rear axle.
I should say. Studs are longer. What's longer?
The hub itself. So no, the studs are the same.
Right. I imagine so.
But the hub that connects to the rear axle, imagine that it's longer so that like it extends even farther down the rear axle.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And it actually helped. It made it so the rear end was more stable, especially under braking. Like
why does that do anything though? I'm just trying to think of what would cause it to. Is it the weight? Is changing?
No, I think it's. I can't really. I can't
visualize why that would do it.
I'm not going to try and describe the physics either right now. I could tell you some things, and I bet you'd be wrong. I'm assuming it's like with the thinner. With the thinner hubs, you're probably allowing that axle to flex a lot more. But with the thicker hubs, you're probably not allowing it to flex so much.
Makes sense, yeah.
But yeah, so we're having fun. Here's the thing. At lunchtime, right, Jim starts coming around, and he's like, hey, they've told us that they're having a slow day up at the car track. So at 3:30, they're going to allow us to take the go-karts onto the big course, onto the regular car track, which is 2.5 miles long.
It's really long. So wait, now let's just say, do you have any idea the X1 outdoors, how long that was?
Yeah, 1.3.
Oh, wow, so it's like double.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. So obviously we're all super excited. So I go out, I do a few more runs on the go-kart track for a few hours. I gave Will Juba, who was a teammate of mine in the 24 Hours of NOLA, the chance to drive my go-kart. He drove a Rotax once, and it was like half rainy conditions, so it was kind of shitty. So this was the first time, I gave him the opportunity to take like an actual dry, proper run at a 2-stroke, and he loved it. He had a very good time. You still need to do that, by the way.
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do. But then at like at 2:30, I stopped, and I just started changing the gear ratios and everything else on the go-kart that needs to be changed in order for.
Did you just go ahead and put the longest, biggest that you had?
No, because knowing how the power band works, or at least what I know about how the power band works in that go-kart, I did my Cannon gear ratio minus 1 tooth on the rear. So I had 1 less tooth in the rear sprocket. And I was like, that's probably good, because it's a longer track than Cannon. It's wider than Cannon. It's probably going to be faster than Cannon. However, I don't want to be out of the power band, so 1 less tooth. I think that'll be good. So we go out onto the car track, dude. And it's so funny because because of how small the go-kart track is, when you get on the throttle on the go-kart track, it takes off pretty quick. It's like, all of a sudden you're in the power band and shit. But it's like when you're on the car track until you hit the power band. And even then, when you hit the power band, it's not like a snap like you're used to.
Well,
with
the track's bigger too, so it's gonna just visually look not as fast, I guess.
Yes.
At first.
But here's the thing about club motorsport, at least with the car track. It is, at least in our go-karts, man, it is a phenomenal track. It has so much undulation.
So it's like Palmer, maybe?
It probably is similar to it. Yeah. It's got hills. It's like a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster track, dude.
So now, were you carrying speed through the corners too?
Yes.
Well, I'm sure you were, right? Because it's a wide track. So
It's
you
a
could probably
wide-
just almost go, well, you tell me. Were you like flat through these turns or what?
Not all of them, no.
So you
No,
did
there were
have to-
actually corners you had to slow down for.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But not much brake, you mean just mostly just kind of coast a bit?
A little bit of brake. Especially for the first few laps. Like, I don't know the track, so...
Yeah, you don't want to go off on a...
Right, I'm literally going through a lot of these corners for the first... I did this once before. I was given the opportunity to drive go-karts on this track like a few years ago, but we were literally given like 2 laps, and that was it. So I don't remember the course. So for Saturday, for this day that we're doing now, it really does feel like my first time going through these corners again. It is clockwise.
Is that the direction the cars go?
Yes, it's the direction the cars go. But yeah, the 4-stroke guys, it seemed like it was flat out for every single corner, especially 206s. It was funny. They let everybody who was there go out at the same time. So like, Charlie Roberts, his son, Edward, who is, I think he's like 5, right?
That sounds
He's out
sketchy.
He's out in his little itty bitty cart doing like 25 miles an hour.
Oh.
And then you have guys in their shifter carts.
Now, what were they doing for speeds?
They had to be over 100 miles an hour. Easy.
What the though happens though at that speed if you like throw a chain or something happens to your tire?
Here's the thing. So
Smart.
we're on the out lap, right? I didn't see this happen. I only saw the video afterwards. I'll show you when we're done with the podcast. But Brad Danoff, right? He has his shifter. He's out there in his shifter running around. He's coming to take basically what would be like coming to take the green flag for the first lap. And all of a sudden, the engine quits, the rears lock, and he just spins down the front straightaway, like far enough, fast enough to where it's plumes of smoke. And he thankfully it didn't hit a wall, and he just kind of rolled backwards and stopped. When I was coming down the hill onto the front stretch to take my green flag, the yellow flag was out. And I saw him along the side of the wall, like trying to kind of lift the cart onto the wall. And I'm like, what the hell happened here? But yeah, it's pretty wild to watch it. I'll show you.
Well, how fast was he going when he spun?
I bet you 80 something miles an hour, probably, if not 90 or 100. It crossed the start finish line. It's a long ass front straightaway, especially in go-karts. Oh my God, it felt like a year.
Because I have to imagine in a car you're going to be doing over 100.
Yeah.
Actually. Not a Miata, maybe. Miata probably, I think.
Maybe.
Dude, the
maybe.
spec Miata's like top out of 110, though, I think.
Sure, but you can still do over 100 miles an hour.
That's true.
But the thing is that, like I said, 4-strokes probably flat out all the way around. I'd have to ask a few people. I don't really. From like 206s definitely seemed like it was just flat out the whole way. You never had to lift or anything. But like I said, 2-strokes, you had to lift for some corners. And dude, a lot of these corners that you were lifting for were braking zones going downhill into a corner, and it was so fun because like you'd smack the brakes a little bit, turn in, the rear end is not gripping, it wants to come out, you're sliding around a corner going downhill like this,
right? Almost full speed.
It was at like 70 or 60 something miles an hour in a go-kart. It was just, oh my dude, it was so fun. And like,
I know, I'm so mad you didn't have the GoPro attached to you.
I know, I didn't bring the GoPro because I didn't expect this, and I already have footage of racing around clubs. So I was like, well, I don't need to bring the GoPro.
Then again, yeah. So the GoPro doesn't necessarily really tell the story for racing. It's good, but I think
it would have told the story better than what I can tell you right now if you had the actual visual of it.
You need to buy one of those like visor cams that goes in your helmet.
Those are tempting.
They're
expensive.
Tempting
to, yeah.
Are they legal? I don't even know.
No, they're not legal in our club.
Really?
No.
Why though? Why are you allowed to stick one on the outside of your helmet, not on the inside?
You're not even allowed to stick one. In the NHK, you can't stick one on your body at all.
Oh, I didn't even realize.
No. Like when I put the camera on the cart It just sits on the radiator.
Yeah.
So it can be on the cart, but it can't be on your body.
Interesting. I wonder why.
I think it's mostly insurance companies. They're afraid that like if you get flung, right, and you fly out and you land on your camera, somehow it would hurt you. That's what they don't
Who knows? I don't know. Yeah.
Is it raining? No, I thought I heard rain.
Maybe.
But yeah, dude, it was so much. It was some of the most fun I've ever had in a go-kart, dude.
How many laps did you get? Not 2, right?
No, here's the thing. We did like a 20-minute session, right? And then they threw the like a checkered flag at us because somebody had broken down halfway through the lap. So we come in, and I'm so happy. I'm just giggling. I'm like, this was one of the best experiences I've ever had in racing. This is so fun. And thinking it's over, like, that was cool. That was amazing. I'm going to have a lot of stories to tell, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm talking to somebody, and then I hear out of the corner, somewhere over here, I just hear like, so we're going to let you guys go back out again. And I'm like, wait, what? Did you say we're going to go back out again? And the guy's like, yeah, go back out. I'm like, okay. So I sit back down. I started back up, and like, I had used what looked like more than half a tank of fuel. And I'm like, hopefully I have enough fuel to keep going for another session. So we go out for another over 20 minutes. Dude, we probably got like 40, 45 minutes of track time.
Sick. Wow.
On the big course.
Did you do any little fun, kind of back and forth with anyone or no?
Yes. So
in drafting, I imagine, would be...
A little bit. So in the first session, I was actually having a nice run with Miles Danoff, Brad's kid. And he races junior, right? So technically, his motor is not as powerful as mine. But...
He's lighter.
He's lighter. But I think his gearing was a bit better than mine because he had a better top speed than me, which was interesting. So, like, I caught him, like, if that first session was 20 minutes, I probably caught him about 10 minutes in. But then once I caught him, I probably passed him halfway into the lap after I had reached him. And then I'm driving along, and I'm going up a hill, and all of a sudden, he just kind of goes by me. And I'm like,
how old is he?
It's interesting. 12, 13.
No shit. He's doing 90 miles an hour, 13?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, he races all the time. They're members at Club Motorsports, so they're at the track constantly.
Sick.
So it's not like speed's gonna scare him at all. So it was fun because like even like one time we got into the front straightaway and I was right behind him. So I was like, it's a drafting opportunity. So I'm trying to draft. He's still taking off because he's got the better gear ratio than me. And I was like, this is really weird. Like, what's going on? Like, and so eventually I probably had better speed for like the first 2/3 of the power band, let's say. So because of that, I eventually did catch him, and then I eventually was able to just kind of, for the rest of the session, I was ahead of him. But it was fun. It was really fun.
Dude, I bet. And it was perfect weather, right? Temperature-wise?
Yeah, it was pretty great. A little chilly in the morning. But
no rain, though.
No rain.
Because rain would have kind of...
Nobody would want to run.
No, it's practice day. And what are you practicing for? You're just going to waste tires.
Yeah, I mean, sure, you can practice for rain if you want to. I'm sure it's going to rain this year at some point, so it's valid. But,
that'd be good for someone like
me. The rain sucks because I swear to God, rain is like glue. So like when it rains, it seems like any rocks, any grass, anything that hits your cart sticks to your cart, and that's what the pain in the ass is the cleanup afterwards.
Could you just either get compressed air or pressure washer or no?
You gotta wait till it all dries out, I guess. That's the side.
Well, how susceptible is it? Because I one time pressure washed my Mustang engine bay, and it was a disaster. Bad idea. I covered the air filter and stuff, but it's still so water got on the coils and shit like that. It was just a bad idea. Just don't do it.
Yeah, I've never done that before.
No,
so
you should not.
Do not play on it.
People do. Well, nowadays you might be able to because there's just a plastic cover over everything. But
yeah, I know.
Back when I was younger, they didn't do that. So don't do that. Note to self. Coils are expensive. Coil packs.
I'm sure. Yeah, dude, this weekend was so much fun just because of that full track experience, and it was funny because
and you had a brewery right next to you.
Yeah, that was the day before. I didn't really do that.
Still
much
night
afterwards.
Before or day.
Night before.
Yeah.
Night before. It was funny because at the end of the session, right? Actually, like a lap before the session ended, I started hearing like this chugging at the rear of the cart. Like I'd be going kind of up a hill or stressing the motor, and I would hear like that, right? And I've heard that noise before. That usually means that the rear sprocket is giving out, like the teeth are probably worn down or something like that. But I wasn't sure. So as I was bringing it in on the cool down lap, it's chugging even more every time I get in the throttle, whatever. Bring it in, I put it up on the stand, and like I almost wore all the teeth off the rear sprocket.
So what was the reason for that happening though?
I think probably didn't lube it enough. You know, like I lube the chain before every session on a regular day, right? And what's a regular session? Like 12 minutes at most.
That's true.
So
That's true.
You know, when we do like the Canaan endurance races, like I have what
kind of lube is it? Is it a spray dry lube? Like
I got a garage door lube. It's nothing crazy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then for the Canaan longer races, I got like a gel that I'll put on the chain, and that usually gets you through the entire session. I didn't use that gel for this thing because we were told, oh, we're gonna go out there for 20 minutes, and I thought that was gonna be it, just 20 minutes, not 40.
The heat must have something to do with it, right? It's got to break it down too. Whatever lubricant's there, it's got to just wear through it.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't that hot. It was.
But if you had broke the chain out there, that could have been bad. Couldn't
Yeah, it
that
would've
cause a
sucked.
wreck or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I was actually thinking that. I was like, there was one corner in particular where you're flying down the hill, and I would hit 80 something miles an hour at the bottom of the hill, right? And I was just thinking, like, what if a wheel falls off? What if a chain comes off? What if any of these things happen?
Did you actually think that?
Yeah, like
Really?
I'd be going down the hill,
Fuck.
but the like I want to go fast part of my brain would just overthink that and just be like, yes, run
Yeah.
full throttle, woo, down the hill. Here we go, sliding a little bit sideways at 79 miles an hour. What the fuck I'm doing, dude. I feel so lucky to have experienced that because like if you wanted to do that,
replicate it,
I
yeah.
can't tell you how to do it. You know what I mean?
There's nowhere you can just go
It
and do it. You got to kind of get offered.
Yeah, it was the generosity of the Club Motorsport staff. Because, like, Jim put this event together, but he constantly told us, like, it wasn't my idea. It was the staff that told me to tell you guys, don't take.
Yeah, no, that was nice of them.
That was.
So what do they charge you for like something like this for the day? $100?
Club's expensive. So if you're to go to Club Motorsport,
First of all, do you have to be a member?
you have to be a member.
All right, so you're a member?
I am not a member. If you're not a member,
There's like invite days or something.
Sometimes. This was more or less an invite day, but the way it works usually is that if you want to come and you're not a member, you have to have a member sign you in as a visitor, and I think each member is allowed 10 visitors per day.
Okay, it's like a golf club.
Right? No, it is. It's a country club, but it's a motorsport track. You know what I mean? So like Jim had 10 of us, and then there was somebody else who was a member that had the next 10, and then I think there were like 25 of us total that came for the day. So a third person had to let in the next 5.
Yeah, I mean it builds a clout and reputation, and then hopes that you get more members.
Right.
That's the idea.
Right. Now, I think as a non-member, you're only allowed to be a visitor twice a year. That's another caveat.
No shit.
Yeah. But
But they would still charge you, or did Jim get charged, and then he would just ask you for money
no. We get charged. The visitors get charged by the track, $150.
for the day?
But you get a lot of running. You
Not
get a
too
lot
bad.
more running
That's
than you
not
do
too
on a
bad.
race day. You know what I mean?
Now, what is you said you only went through half a tank?
By the end of that second session, I probably had like an inch of fuel left in the fuel tank.
And how many gallons or liters is one tank?
I think 2.5.
2.5 liters?
Now,
Gallons.
No, gallons. 2.5 gallons. Now, consider I'm racing a 2-stroke, and 2-strokes go through fuel wicked quick as opposed to 4-strokes because we're literally firing every time the piston hits the top of the cylinder. You know what I mean? 4-strokes only fire every other time. So we're eating through fuel way quick. I need to buy fuel again. I bought a brand new 5-gallon jug, right? Not jug, but a can.
And what are you running, by the way? Just regular pump gas, right?
No. VP98 racing fuel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And there's a benefit to that?
It's cleaner. Like it won't gunk up. I guess pump gas has more.
Yeah, no, I mean, I used to put 93 in just for that reason. I just figured it was better for your...
Right. But even like 93 pump gas as opposed to 93 racing fuel, there's
Oh,
actually
really?
a difference.
I
Yeah.
didn't know there was such thing as 93 pump gas. I mean, racing fuel.
There is. That's what
shit.
I
That
used to
seems-
run in the World Formula.
Huh.
Yeah. It
So
used
what does
to
a
be-
gallon of that cost?
Oh my God. Well,
$10.
I think I lucked
gallon?
out this time because I went to DR to go buy that 5 gallons. I saw your go-kart got sold.
Did it really?
Yeah.
The 107?
Yeah.
Man,
I saw the fairing. I almost wanted to get it and give it to you, but
You
yeah, I should have.
So wait, if it's sold though, is it sold to someone that's gonna race it or no? I mean, like around
Yeah,
here?
probably. I don't know about around here.
Oh, okay.
I don't know who they sold it to. Have you ever been to the DR shop?
No, no.
It's pretty big.
Where is it? I think it's located like Chelmsford or something.
No.
North Shore, no.
I have to look it up. It's
I
in
don't know.
New Hampshire.
Oh, it is. Okay,
Yeah.
forget it. Then I have no idea.
Pretty big shop. Like that giant trailer, the white trailer, fits inside the shop.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big operation.
There's got to be like 50 or 60 go-karts in
I
there.
wonder if it went for used car prices. You know, maybe like they sold it for like $7,000.
No, it would go for used
just
cart
kidding.
prices.
I don't know.
Yeah, what was I leading to? So yeah, they had their pallet of racing fuel, and last year's price for a 5-gallon jug, or 5-gallon can, I should say, was $80. And I thought this year it would be more, just because of how inflation has worked out, but it was still 80, and I was like, well, cool. It's probably just because it's last year's pallet still. You know, it's not like racing fuel really goes bad, so definitely doesn't go bad. I mean, my motor
I don't know. Yeah,
handled
I
it
really
like a
don't know.
champ this week, so.
You don't have to put Stay-Bill in it or whatever.
No. So yeah, I already need to buy fuel because of that 5 gallons, I probably have only 1 gallon left. I went through so much fuel on Saturday. That's what sucks. Like, I think about becoming a member at club so that I can go to club and race whenever I
It's too
want.
far away though.
It's too far away, and the
It's a
more
night out. You got to pay. It's
right, the more you run your go-kart, the more it costs.
because tires. too.
Tires and fuel and everything like that. It's like I want to be on track more often, but I can't. You know what I mean? What? Oh, Sim, shut the up. I mean, you have a point.
No, it sucks. I'm sorry, it sucks. You know I hate that. I hate virtual shit. But
You love. What are you talking about? You
no,
love.
no. I hate it. If I had hold on. In a perfect world, if I was rich,
Yeah.
I'd be like one of those guys that buys a house right on VIR, garage to racetrack. Done. That's your simulator. But I'm not rich, so
Yeah.
I have aspirations to one day own a house instead of just pay rent.
Yeah.
But that's sick. That's cool. I mean, they've got a small go-kart track too. Remember they were building that because they're a club too.
They're building one now. Palmer's not really a club because they host races. Maybe you can be a member, but they actually host races. That's
So
the
it's
thing
more
about
like
club.
Lime Rock then.
Club doesn't host races. It's basically for members, and they can just come run their expensive
But see,
cars.
I thought that's VIR is a club too. I thought.
It's probably a mix,
Both,
but
yeah.
I think Club Motorsport is mainly membership based. You know what I mean? It's track
I saw
days.
like actually
it's-
a Motor Trend or Road and Track had a article about that track you went to. It's pretty nice. They did one on Palmer and Club Motorsport.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I loved it in a go kart, dude. Yeah, it's got to be fun in a
I
car.
mean, I saw the videos and photos. It's beautiful. I mean, it's like you said. I love elevation change.
yeah.
What does an elevation change feel like in a go kart though? It's got to be kind of cool.
Well, the downhills, like I was saying, were like sketchy because the rear end just wants to come around the entire time, and you're just like save it.
But the turns are probably. I would imagine the turns feel more banked on a kart because they're designed for a car. So did it feel like you always
Maybe.
kind of had a little bit
There's
of
not
banking?
much.
working?
The corners didn't really have banking per se.
Okay.
It was pretty flat as far as like camber goes.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
But yeah, the downhills were very, very fun. The uphills are a little
Uneventful because
because you have to remember, even though the 2-stroke go-karts are relatively fast, it's still only 30 horsepower, and when you're trying to go up a hill, you're still like, like you're actually losing a little bit of speed as you go up a hill.
Of course.
Because it's still low power, but going downhill, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, the power's back, and it's just like the rear end just wants to slip. Oh, it's
So
fun.
So if you're on the throttle, is there almost like if you let off the throttle too aggressively, you get like a quick oversteer from that though? If you were
No,
it's
not
not
in the,
like you
not
know what
in
I'm
the
thinking
carts.
of? Like okay, so it's not like that. You
You don't really get the weight transfer like that because at least with the 2-strokes, dude, it seems like a lot of what you do is based on how much are you spinning up the rear wheels to rotate the cart.
I would imagine the brakes are still the most.
Well, sure, yeah, you can
You know what I mean?
use the brakes to pitch and whatnot, but like like in the Rotax, I'll get on the throttle a little bit earlier than the Apex.
But you don't have 4. You have just 2 rear brakes, right?
One.
One is what I meant to say, right?
Yeah, just
okay.
the one rear
you're not
brake
like
on the rear
shifters
axle.
Yeah.
No. The shifters have 3 brakes, the 2 in the front and the 1 in the rear. Yeah, but I just have the rear brake. But like I was saying, like I'll get on the throttle before the Apex just because it'll start to rotate the rear and it kind of helps you rotate throughout the rest of the corner. You know what I mean? It seems like anytime I've driven a 2-stroke that it's oversteery in nature all the time. Not so in a 4-stroke. A 4-stroke, like when I used to race the World Formula, I could make it so that when I got on the throttle, it would kind of pitch the rear, especially in slower corners. But you can have proper understeer.
I don't remember ever experiencing understeer where I felt like, oh God, I need less understeer. I don't remember that.
No, me neither. You don't really get that.
Yeah.
But like, what I'm saying is that the oversteer part is accentuated in 2-strokes.
Gotcha.
Just because it's so much more potential.
We talked about this. Yeah, in the 4-stroke, the one thing I noticed, you never had to really worry about. I mean, unless it was wet or something, you didn't have to worry about oversteer induced by throttle, pretty much ever.
Yeah, I mean,
unless you're driving the track wrong or you're doing something weird. But if you're running the racing line,
like I could do oversteer in the 4-strokes just because of the way I set it up, but it wasn't like oversteer where you're going to spin.
Right.
Whereas
right,
the 2-strokes
we'll use
can
the
catch
example
you
of
out.
Kanan on the half track. When you're coming out onto the straight,
Yeah.
you see the 2-strokes and the shifters. They can loop it right there. You would never see that in like a World Formula. You're just not gonna, unless there's some contact or something weird going on.
Even there, I wouldn't say you're going to go around in a 2-stroke because you're kind of below the power band because that second to last corner is so slow.
That's what I'm talking about. But the shifters, those things loop it there.
Oh
often.
yeah. Because I mean they're in the power band at all times. Dude, I wish shifters weren't so expensive and just weren't so insane to run because they're so fun. So fun.
I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, they kind of scare the shit out of me a little bit.
Yeah, they're scary.
But I think you should be afraid of it until you approach it.
Well, as I've told you, and I've told many people, if anybody ever offers you to drive a shifter kart, do not hesitate. Yes is always the answer.
Of course.
Always.
Now, what is it like braking with the 2 front brakes?
It's ridiculous.
Does it feel very different? You
Yes.
can brake, I assume, a
Yes.
little bit later and
Go
a little.
way no, a lot later. A lot
No shit.
later. It's ridiculous how much better it is. It's amazing. It's like the few times I've driven a shifter, it's just instant smiles and just instant like this. It's like karting on cocaine, dude.
How do you? But here's the thing. I mean, if you're used to sequential gear, like banging through the gears in that fashion on the steering column, it's not natural if you've never done it. So I feel like that would be a little.
No, but you just got to think motorcycle logic.
What if you don't ride a motorcycle?
Sure. I mean, I rode ATVs all throughout my childhood, which is.
But
the
all
same
you're
type of
doing is
gearbox.
banging. So on the upshifts, you keep your foot planted, right? Oh,
No,
you're right.
lift.
You told me that. Yeah, you got to
lift
lift
on the upshifts.
which is bizarre because in a car with a sequential, you don't lift on the upshifts, and sometimes you would lift on the downshifts.
You don't lift on the upshifts for cars because a lot of cars that have that these days automatically cut the throttle for you.
I'm just talking about like an old school, like a what do you call those things? The Australian.
Well, the V8 supercars,
Yeah.
they lift on upshifts.
See, I thought they. Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think they did. Yeah.
I would
But
think
nonetheless, so you're just
because you're gonna be pegged at
yeah.
the rev limiter when.
What about so you're shifting mostly in anticipation for that. You're not going to shift in the middle of a turn, I imagine, because you're going too fast, doing too much.
What, in a shifter kart?
Yeah, I would think.
No, you have to.
Really?
Think the fountain corner at F1 Outdoors.
Okay. Yeah.
You're gonna have to shift a gear around that corner.
No shit.
Oh yeah, that's actually so when
Is it sketchy though? Like when you engage next gear?
it's gotta be.
I don't know. I've
But
never
you
done
have to. You have to do it. You know what I mean? When Josh Dennis had his shifter kart there, he brought it to F1 Outdoors for a test session one day, and that was one of the things he complained. Well, I wouldn't say complain, but he was saying like, he couldn't finish the day just because of how painful it was, just getting ribbed into the seat.
Right, because you're one-handing it while you're banging the gears.
Right. He said he was going around that fountain corner, having to let go of the wheel to grab the shifter, throw it up, and then get back. He said it was very difficult. But yeah, you have to do it.
Huh.
That's shifter kart racing. You cannot be a slouch physically.
And it's just six yanks, right?
6 speed. Yep. One down, five.
So let's say at
six
the
forward.
hairpin, we'll use the X1 Outdoors. What gear would you go down into? Like third, or would you go lower?
Oh, I don't know. I can't tell.
All right. I'm just curious if you ever really need to get, all the way down into first. I wouldn't think you would.
No, I think first is probably just launch.
Right.
And that's it.
Right.
First has got to be real short. I bet you first gear gets you up to like 12 miles an hour, something like that.
Right.
And the rest of the time, you're all the way up to...
Dude, you're flying all the time. You're probably third's the lowest, I bet, because you're just... Think about it.
Might be.
What's the slowest you've ever... Any track I've ever seen a shifter kart, they're at least doing 45 miles, 55 miles an hour, almost always.
At all times. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think they're slightly heavier than regular karts, so I bet you around...
You're talking about the drivers? No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Dude, the shifter kart drivers, though, they're all big. Not necessarily fat, but they're just bigger dudes.
Sometimes.
I've noticed that they're not like the...
Brad Danoff, who races shifter, he's not really a big guy.
Is he?
I mean, he's muscular and he has to be for his size, but like,
Maybe that's why.
I think that's why you probably think
You don't
that.
see any scrawny fucks.
Well, all
out
right,
there.
wait a minute. So, some of the some guys who race shifter kart are guys that just have money because they want to get into go-karting and they look at, well, what's the fastest? Oh, shifter karts. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
10 grand, I got that. Here you
Yeah,
go.
15 grand. It, I'll do that. And they're not necessarily the most in shape people, and I've seen plenty of examples of that.
Yeah, I can imagine. But it makes me
And,
wonder. You look at like the Formula One crowd, like Lando and them. I wouldn't picture them in a shifter kart. Actually, wait, they don't race like in Europe. They're not even racing shifters, were they? Like when
I think so.
Is that what they like? You see the old Schumacher videos and stuff. Were they shifters or were they?
You know what? I don't know how recent the shifter kart class is, or any kind of shifter kart is, because when you look at like Senna or you look at Schumacher and any of those guys that came up through the ranks, they don't appear to be driving shifter karts. I don't know when karts all of a sudden had transmissions. You know what I mean? I would argue that even the kids that are coming up today going into car racing don't necessarily need to touch shifter kart racing, because you can be 16, 15 years old in a tag. You know what I mean? And if you're good,
just move
all
on.
of a sudden you're 16, 17 years old driving an F3. You know what I mean? So you never have to necessarily even touch
true,
shifter
you can
karts.
skip it.
Yeah. It's funny. I recently saw a video. It must have been another podcast with Danny Formal, who was one of the best kart racers in the country. He was talking about how he's disappointed that a lot of people don't bother or don't really even consider doing the shifter class, because he does the shifter class when he can, and he considers it the top echelon of kart racing that you can do.
Well, I would imagine it's
You know?
probably the top echelon of any racing you could do, like to a degree.
Well, no, Formula One's the top echelon of any
No,
racing
but
you can
I
do.
meant as far as actual just all-out skill, challenging on your body, everything.
Right. And he was saying, like, I don't agree with him on this, but he's more of a kart racer, more into it than I am, more in shape and whatnot. He was saying, like, I can do 200 laps in a tag and I will never get tired. Blah, blah, blah. And that was the part where I was like, dude, I can only do like 20 and I'm dead. But he says, like, after a 20, 25 lap race in a shifter, I'm feeling it, man. And that's, he was just basically making this big point that, like, that's the top tier go-kart racing that you can do in the world. And it's a shame that not enough people are trying to get there, and not enough people are trying to, do it in some type of real, professional way.
Well, for shit's sake, man, eventually you got to skip something, because think about it. If you were to work your way up through every rank, all the way from 4-stroke to 2-stroke to shifter, then to F3, F4, like, it's just going to take too long. Let's face it. If you're talented and winning, usually you just kind of like skip on by.
Right. I think it's weird with shifter, because, like, it seems like, shifter is absolutely the top echelon of kart racing you can do in the country. I would say it's even more, it's more intense and more difficult than like 250cc superkarts.
I was going to bring that up. Yeah, the laydowns or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, those guys, they go faster. They'll do 135, 140 miles an hour in a go-kart. That's pretty impressive. But you're not constantly shifting as often. You're not constantly taking corners as often. You're probably not pulling the same G's, because a 250cc shifter kart is definitely heavier than a regular go-kart with a shifter kart or a shifter motor on it. To me, it seems like if you're going into shifter, yeah, you'll be at the top echelon, but you're going to be with a bunch of guys who probably aren't necessarily looking to get into auto racing professionally anymore, at least with cars.
Yeah.
Because like I said, you can go immediately from tag senior as a 15-year-old to F3 as a 16 or 17-year-old. Yeah, it was an interesting topic. I should probably I saw about 10 minutes of that clip, and that's all it was. I'd love to find the rest of that podcast and listen to the whole thing to just get a feeling for what they were talking about. I never really think about professional karting, to be honest with you. I only think about what I do, and I think about our club, and that's about it. I don't really think beyond that. It is interesting to hear from the guys who do it professionally, like guys who get paid to race go-karts and actually hear their opinions about how the sport's going on. I think their opinions are a little bit skewed. Like that kid, Danny Formel, like I was saying, he's going on like more people should be doing shifter. That should be what everybody's trying to do. That's where everybody should go. And it's like, yeah, dude, but like you're like a kid. You're 20, maybe 21, and you probably didn't have to pay for much of what you did. I'm assuming that a lot of your racing was all paid for throughout your childhood, and you don't have to deal with the bill. You don't have to. It's not like everybody who races go-karts has a crew and has mechanics and has the money and who can spend six figures on karting every year. A lot of
those guys must be spending $100,000.
Absolutely,
at that level.
6 figures easily.
Wow.
These are the guys that buy a pallet of engines at the beginning of the year and a pallet of carburetors and a pallet of frames. They test them all out to find the best on that pallet, and then they resell the rest of it. You know what I mean?
Speaking of that.
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody's doing burnouts out there.
It's weird.
But it's going real hard. Wow.
It's funny if it gets picked up.
But it was just funny to me to hear him going like so intense with that perspective when like, what the hell is going on out there?
Oh, it
stopped. There's going to be like a plume of smoke.
All right,
in the
we
window.
got a burnout going on out there. I guess it's a boy. Whoa.
Yeah, blue smoke. Woo.
Yeah. The lights,
not
demons are back.
Not that there's anything against pink smoke, you know.
I let the baby decide.
Oh, we're getting
yeah, I don't know what's going on.
abducted again. But yeah, it was just so funny to hear that perspective when like I would think most of kart racing these days is the club level. And that's where the reality of go-karting is. But I don't really see the professional level enough. Maybe there is a lot more professional karting than there is club karting.
I think
karting.
you look at it with a logical mind.
I try to. I like logic, you know.
Yeah, you got to keep it in perspective. If you wanted to be a professional at it, you just would have had to have that in your brain and everyone else's brain around you that's what you want to do from the age of 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
I would say, I wanted to race cars ever since I was 5 years old, but I'm a first generation.
But there's a
racer.
difference between that and go with the mentality of going pro. I think.
Yeah. You
got to approach it like it's your life, and you're gonna soak. It's like anything, dude. To be a professional musician, you're a musician right now, damn good one. But to be a professional, that's just what you've got to be pressing on from the get go. It can't be like a side thing. I just don't think.
Yeah.
No matter what you're doing, it can't. We were just talking, remember, about YouTubers, like the people that do videos professionally. They do one every day. It's their life. Right.
And you don't even know yet, but video editing takes a long time.
And that's why I don't do it.
Dude, like if we didn't do video for the podcast, this podcast would come out tomorrow.
It'd be up on your drive home. You'd be doing it on your cell phone or whatever.
Almost. But because of the video and because of the, other shit like that, it takes me like 3 or 4 days to get one of these out.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I got to work. Dude, all right, so like, let's say I wanted to race shifter karts. If I could have the money, but also the time to continually be going to the gym and whatever else to be ready to race shifter karts, and if I had, a crew of guys to help me out, because doing it as a one-man band as I currently do with tag is already like, it's stressful enough. I can't imagine trying to manage a shifter kart and all of its parts and all of it. I mean, there's guys that do it, I'm assuming, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and if I would need more time in my life to really make it happen, and more money, to be honest with you.
The important thing is you're having fun right now. And
I am. I'm having fun in tag. It's still challenging to me. When I was racing World Formula, I won a few championships. I needed to move up. When I moved up to tag last year, I wasn't doing as well, within the class, but that's good. I needed a different challenge. I won one race as opposed to usually I'll win like 3 or 4 races a year in World Formula. You know what I mean? So I'm right where I need to be right now. I'm not going to be a professional car driver probably in my life. It's
Do you
not
know,
gonna
to be a
happen.
professional, by the way, you can just go get a Skip Barber certification if you want to pay for it. It costs thousands of dollars. But you could technically just you can get like the license to literally go out and run like whatever series you want.
Yeah, but even then, I'm not going to be a professional. I'd be paying out the ass to run whatever series I want.
But you still could say you're a professional. That's my point.
No.
So, yeah, at the end of the day, money will buy you whatever you want to be.
I understand.
You're not going to be a good one.
But to call yourself a professional, even if you're paying,
I know you're saying
for
you
it,
got to get paid. It's like GTD Pro versus AM. It's like
yeah, at least you got to get paid with like sponsor money or something like that.
Well, we're sponsored.
Something.
You're sponsored, Dave.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think I got to pay my electric bill or something.
Yeah, you do before they shut it off on us.
Either that or, as you said, the aliens are coming.
Yeah. We don't have much time. If this is the last transmission, tell my family I love them. All right, folks. Thank you for tuning in to episode 15 of the Formula Hooligan podcast. I am Alex Gomes.
And I'm Charlie Hosey, and we'll see you guys after the Miami Grand Prix with
That's
all their
right.
fake water and boats.
That's right. Hopefully the race is not as fake as the people watching it.
I don't disagree. I don't mind the fake people, but let's just have good racing.
Yes. All right. Have a good one, everybody.
Cheers. Dude, that was crazy. What was going on out there?
I don't know.
It sounded pretty legit. Like, didn't it?